back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Saginaw Spirit forward Luke Mcnamara. Luke, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Michael. I really appreciate it.
How have you been doing recently?
It's been pretty good. Just transitioning, coming back home to Toronto, and just finished that playoff run. It was pretty hectic. We just finished our second round of the playoffs. It was tough to lose to the Sarnia Sting, but they have a good club there, and we're just really excited to get back.
Now
Next,
that your season is over, like what are you focusing on this offseason?
yeah, I think just getting stronger. I think there's a lot of work ahead for me. I think focusing on the strength part of it, putting on that weight to come back strong and be the player I think I can be. And yeah, I think it's going to really help me, and I'm super excited.
The Sting really loaded up at the deadline there. Did it ever kind of occur to you that you did play some sort of mega team?
Yeah, they're a great hockey team there. They have a lot of great players. They rebuilt their whole squad to be a stacked team, and we had to do our job to play our way, and I thought we did a great job. Our resilience was really good, and I'm really proud of the group.
Just sometimes the other team just has too much firepower.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, I thought we had a great group of guys, a great team. So we stuck in there, but yeah, they do. They have a really good team.
How like have you been following the rest of the OHL playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. I think everything going on right now, it's been pretty crazy. As you can see, the are getting tight, and that's the environment. It's a different animal in the playoffs. It's a lot different than the regular season. Players are ready for it, and and the coaching staff is too.
Well, getting into a bit of your story about who you are, was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
Personally, it was I try to take different things from different players in the NHL. I think there's a lot of different guys that do a lot of great things, and it was just watching so much hockey. But if I had to choose one guy in particular that I really pay attention to is, Alexander Barkov. The way he handles himself off the ice, he's a leader, and then on the ice, he's such a good defensive forward, and he's very offensive, and he plays with that swagger, and I just love to watch him.
He never gets talked about that much.
Yeah, he's a pretty underrated guy. A guy that's in the NHL, but he's just so effective in the playoffs, and I think Florida's really lucky to have him. So,
And he's been in the league for 12, 13 years, and he still doesn't get talked about. Like, it's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty nuts for sure.
Who influenced you to get into hockey?
I think my dad's been a really big part of my journey so far. He's really helped me along the way. I kind of started when I was 2 years old, and just I fell in love with the game. Fell in love with the game. Like, I think at the start of it's more like just having fun with it, getting used to that environment where you're stepping on the ice for the first time, and it's such a cool feeling. And then at some point when you get higher in your age and everything, and you could grow up, it starts to become a business, and that's when it became for me when I entered the GTHL, and then it became a business. So.
Your whole family, I was doing some research up on it, and it seemed like most of it's in the hockey realm, with most of your uncles being NHL scouts. What was what's that story like? Because that must be really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got a lot of family in hockey and in the NHL especially, and it's pretty cool to learn stuff from them, and for them to kind of go through the process of what NHL teams are looking for and stuff like that. So it's been really cool to have them in my life.
Has that given you like a leg up on some other players having that kind of knowledge that your uncle's an NHL scout?
Uh, I don't think, not really. I think it's great to have them in my life, and I think they give me a lot of tips and tools for my toolbox. But at the end of the day, I think you have to work for it. There's a lot of hard work that you have to put in to become the player you want to become, and not quite there yet at all. So.
Were some of your uncles, scouting you at your own games?
Nobody scouts. Well, I guess I have a couple cousins that scouts, but I actually work with my uncle. He was the GM for the Leafs in 70. I don't know, it's somewhere in the 70s, and he's been a really big part of my journey so far. Working with him, so along the ride so far, he's definitely been a big help with advancing in my hockey career, and he has great tips and tools because he's drafted guys like Wendell Clark. He found Boria Salming, so it's you go way back in the 70s, but it's pretty cool to see my uncle do something like that.
That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick, I gotta say.
For sure, yeah, it's cool.
So, with your family having ties to the Leafs, you're from the GTA, same as I'm from Burlington. Did you cheer for the Leafs growing up?
Yeah, I was always a Leafs fan because I mean I think everybody from Toronto cheers for the Leafs because it's pretty crazy environment, and especially right now in the playoffs. I hope they make to round three.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Habs fan myself. All right, so it was a pretty nice feeling coming back from 3-1 down and beating the Leafs because all of my friends are Leaf fans, so that was super nice.
For sure, yeah,
I,
it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, I must be the only Habs fan from the Toronto area. I'm that one person in the grand scheme of things.
For sure. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't think we Leaf fans wouldn't want to hear that, but yeah, that's your opinion. So
are you a fan of any other teams like
um,
NFL, NBA?
I think I typically watch the Raptors play a little bit and kind of stay Toronto based because that's all we watch here. So yeah, I kind of watch those teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Jays fan as well. So that's the only Toronto team I'll probably ever cheer for. But yeah, definitely a big Jays guy over here.
Yeah, they're pretty good this year, I think. So
Before
it's cool.
before getting drafted to Saginaw, you played with JRC. Like, what does it mean to play for such a prestigious organization?
Yeah, it was a pretty cool year, that Bantam year, right before everything got shut down at the very end of the year. But yeah, we had a great team, a lot of great players. You know, uh, Guys that are playing in the league now, guys that are still playing hockey. So it's great. So it was a great experience for me to play there, and yeah, it's a great organization. So I
And I mean,
can't
they
say
just. Oh, sorry.
it's all good.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, they just won the OHL Cup this past year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They're always a pretty good organization, so I give them a lot of props with that for sure.
And on that team was Zane Peric. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, he was underage on our team.
Yeah,
So
which is crazy because he's followed you basically your whole career. Now you guys are on Saginaw together.
yeah, he's a great player, great teammate, and he was fun to play with on JRC. And then to see what he did this year for our team, it's pretty cool. And I think he wants to have even a better year next year. So
When the pandemic came around at the tail end of your JRC career, how did you adapt your game due to the pandemic?
yeah, so it was pretty hectic then too. The 2020 year, I think it started in March, I believe, when it really
Yeah.
hit. So we had to cancel our last playoff game. We were playing the Marlies, and we had to cancel our game, and it was really tough. So it and then everybody was kind of shut down after that. And then I guess right after that, I had to just stay in shape, do the best I could. I guess work as hard as I could, just do the best I can for whatever we had. So we actually have a hill near my house, and I would run that hill every day from the bottom to the top, and it was great for me to just keep on doing what I could possibly do in that year, and then yeah, it was pretty nuts. So
It must have been like just a load of dryland training.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. During that year, it was a long process to kind of go through it, but around September, August, we we had kind of made the decision to further my career and go to the States, which was good for my development as well. And yeah, it was super cool that year. And um, we spoke to Chris Collins and Ryan Callahan, down there, and they kind of showed us the program and what they were going to give us and stuff, and it was really cool. So to go through that process of moving down there in November when everything was shut down here, and I think there were like some showcase stuff going on here, and people were trying to play and do the best they could, but it was a really cool environment to go down in that year and play meaningful games and get development and just further my career that way. So
And that I'm really happy about. Like, that makes me really happy because at least you were able to find a way, find somewhere to play, because every OHL player was shut, like the entire league shut down that year. The Dub and the Q played. It was brutal.
yeah, it was crazy.
Speaking of, like, let's talk about your draft day there. You were taking 15th overall in the 2021 draft by the Spirit. What do you remember about draft day?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Just at home with my family, we had our computer out and kind of watching it unfold, and it was pretty fun to go through it. Looking back, it was pretty nerve wracking at the time. I guess everybody goes through that, and it's pretty nerve wracking. But yeah, really fortunate that the Spirit picked me 15th, and I kind of it's been a great time down in Saginaw. I've been really grateful to have great coaching staff. The way we play, it's very cool the way we play. We play a motion game, and it's been a great adjustment. So playing here, so.
How did you end up celebrating that moment? Like, did you go out for dinner, or what did you do?
Yeah, I think it just started with watching it, see how it unfolded. Uh, Kind of go through some interviews that night. So that night was kind of busy because you have to do some interviews with broadcasters and stuff like that. But the next day, we had a little street party and get together. That was about it. So.
In your rookie season, which was the 21-22 season, you scored 22 points in 63 games. But what was the bright spot during your rookie season?
Yeah, yeah, it was a pretty cool a pretty hard adjustment. Obviously, like the speed's faster. You have to, kind of adjust your game a little bit. Just try to come in and just, bring all your tools that you worked on in minor hockey and the way you played into the OHL. And I was lucky and fortunate. I had great teammates and coaching staff to help me through that year, and it was great for my development. And I'm really fortunate that they helped me, and it was really fun. It was a fun year.
Now, that season was a bit of a unique one because it was the return to play, and like teams were playing each other 10 times, which was way more than, what we were used to. So what was it like going up against, the same team, like 10, 15 times during the season?
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like the COVID, kind of divided the league a little bit, so we weren't able to play the Eastern teams at all. It was kind of more like Flint and teams like that, and Windsor, and just going over the border. But it kind of started off just playing the American teams at the start, like Erie and Flint, and it was definitely unique, I guess I should say. But it was really cool, and I mean, it was nuts. Like I think we ended up playing them like 15, 16 times, so it was pretty hectic.
I felt, if I were to play it's the same team 15 to 16 times, like I would get pretty exhausted by the end of it.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, they're games, they're hockey games. You just got to come into it like the same mentality, like you would play any other team, and you just play hockey. So,
That's true. I mean, maybe it would potentially brew a rivalry, right?
oh yeah, it's a big rivalry in Michigan for sure. The two teams, Flint and Saginaw.
Now, this season, you finished with 27 points in 67 games. What parts of your game did you focus on coming into this year?
Yeah, I think another big summer. Put in a lot of work to come in and try to be the best player I possibly could. Um, I thought I thought this summer was definitely a fun one. Working just on my upper body, try to gain as much weight as I could and be as strong as I could coming back. And yeah, this year was a fun year. We had a great group of guys. We brought in some pieces to make our team a lot better, and really fortunate with that because it helped us in the playoffs for sure. And I think I had to adjust my game a little bit this year and play more of a third line role. Um, behind two great players, great two centermen there, and it was really it was great. So I'm really fortunate that we did so well as a team, and moving forward, hopefully it goes better.
This was also your first, taste of OHL playoff action. What was the atmosphere like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I've never been through it. Obviously, our first year, or my first year, sorry, we didn't make the playoffs, so it's definitely really hard that way. Um, but we had such a young group that first year, and I think that's where, in the off season we added some pieces and stuff like that, and guys like Theo Hill, who's been a great addition to our team, great leader. Hunter Hayes, same thing. So guys like that really helped us, make our team even better, and then adding some new pieces like Misa and Bodie Stewart and Zane Perek and those young guys, and it really helped our team out, and then this playoff run was great. I thought our team did a really good job. Playing in it. That series versus Flint was pretty crazy. I don't know if you saw it, but we won in seven, and it was a back and forth series. Pretty cool to play in. So
What's the mentality for you like going into a do or die game seven?
yeah, it's a cool atmosphere for sure. It's you play against the same guys for 7 games. Seventh game is more of a hockey game. So I think the very first game in the playoffs is more like, everybody's running around hitting. And then it starts to settle down and everybody just starts to play hockey. And I think that's where we had I think step is where, I think we were really skilled. They have a really skilled team over there in Flint, but I thought we did a really good job playing against them. So
Were you able to, or like when we review that game seven, like, because that was an epic game seven. In your opinion, what did you guys do well? Like, do you think you guys limited Flint's attack off the rush, or what, in your opinion, what did you guys do well that game?
Um, I thought we definitely adjusted our game a little bit. As it goes along, you see what they do really well, and you kind of counter. We did a lot of video, so we watched, and that's something our coach does a really good job with our analytics and stuff like that, and seeing what they do really well and what we have to do to kind of counter it and everything. So that kind of helped us, I think, and helped us in this game seven game. But ultimately, I just think we just had to play our game, play simple, get pucks in deep too at times, be more on the rush. Like I think our team plays more of a puck possession game, but dumping the puck in here and there really helped us. And I thought we did a really good job, really just playing our game. And I think if we play our game, it really does help our team out. So
Now, did you develop any playoff superstitions?
mm, um, I kind of I tape my stick, every game. I like everybody toe to heel usually. I use fat tape. Um, I kind of like my stick. So in the stick rack, I don't put my stick like down, like just like the blade touching the ground. It's more like it's up. So I put my knob on the ground and my blade up. So I like doing that. I don't love when guys touch my stick at all. And then typically I usually do my right side over my left. So nothing too serious.
I feel like I asked a lot of people that question. I think there are like I had gotten a lot of answers for the left side than the right side.
Yeah, it's usually my right side, which is
Mm.
funny.
What's it like playing with or being on the same team as Michael Misa? I mean, everyone knows kind of who he is. He's a phenom, exceptional status.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a really great player, on and off the ice. He's been a great addition to our team. What was really impressive, came in and kind of just, he was just the player he was in minor hockey, and he kind of just adjusted his game a little bit. Um, he's got a really good knack around the net, and seeing him go through it, I think one thing he does really well is he's very calm. So, if things don't go his way, he doesn't really get upset. He doesn't sulk. He just, focuses on the next shift. And yeah, he had a great season, and he's a great teammate as well. So fun to play with.
What are you going to remember from the season?
I think some of our resilience, kind of, we made a couple of trades during the season, bringing in some more guys, but I thought our team did a really good job just playing our game and playing the same way. And, just the group of guys, because, um, typically what happens, you don't usually have the exact team that you have the next year. So it's pretty cool, and it's sad to see some of the OAs leave, like Theo Hill, Mitchell Smith, and Tristan Lennox. Those guys were great teammates and great people and fun to play with, and they really helped me along the way, and I can't thank them enough.
You're a draft prospect for this summer's draft. What are you doing to prepare yourself for that?
Yeah, I think just continuing to work in the gym, get stronger, bigger, like everybody has to, and just continue to work on my game, work on some things I want to work on this summer, improve in that aspect. But not really change a thing, just continue what I'm doing and leading up to the draft. And yeah, super excited.
How do you make sure that the rankings during the season don't really get into your head and affect your play on the ice?
Yeah, for sure. I think they're obviously there, so everybody knows that. But I try to stay away from all of it, and just ultimately just focus on my game. And I to be honest with you, I don't pay attention to them. My goal for me as a player is to just work on my game and just get better every day, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
One of the best things about the CHL is the teddy bear toss, and I love it. A lot of players love it. Have you played in any teddy bear toss games?
Yeah, yeah. This year it was a pretty cool teddy bear toss game. It was against Sault Ste. Marie, and we were playing at home, and um, I think Mangoni scored it actually, and one of my teammates, and he's a great guy. But he actually, I think it was a tip from Mitchell Smith's shot, I think, and I think it just went right top corner behind the guy's ears. So it was a pretty cool moment, and just to see all the teddy bears, unfold. Like we had a lot of fans that game. I think it was a sold out game. So yeah, it was a cool environment for sure.
Was there any money placed on who would score the teddy bear toss goal?
Yeah, I think there were a couple bets. I think $200 was on the line for it. Pretty sure. So yeah, I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I remember there was some sort of money on it. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of players have told me that they do like to place, a wager on someone scoring the goal. But it's great that and it just adds to the atmosphere seeing all the teddy bears rain down. It's the best time of the calendar, year for the OHL in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a cool environment for our team to go through it, and I think every team, it's a really cool event for sure.
So you wear number 90, and like is there a reason behind that or no?
Um, so a little bit. I think it kind of started with I wore number 9 my whole life. Going through minor hockey since I was like a little kid, I've always worn number 9, and I don't even know how it's just started. I wore it at such a young age, and then carrying it into my minor mid year, I had to take whatever number they gave me. But luckily, it was at least there was a 9 in it, so I took 19. But then coming into the Spirit, 9 was actually taken by one of our guys, one of my teammates. So he's actually not playing with us right now, but Matthew Jovanovic took number 9. So I figured, you know what, I'll just add a 0 to it and make it 90. So I thought that was pretty cool.
The double digits does go pretty hard, I won't lie.
Yeah, I like it a lot for sure.
What's your favorite off ice activity?
Um, Away from hockey or just
Yeah, let's go with away from hockey. Sure.
probably just I think there's a ton things you can do. You can for me it's something that really helps with my mindset and everything is playing golf with my buddies, going out and playing 18 holes and have some laughs and I think that's a really fun activity that I typically do a lot. So
It must be competitive then, right?
yeah, I think so. Like I think everybody loves to be competitive, right? So there's a little bit of that, but yeah, I think just playing for fun, just being loosey goosey and just enjoying yourself and being with your friends. I think that's the best part about it.
Plus, you're throwing chirps at each other's way, right? Let's be real here. Like, I would throw chirps at my buddies if I play golf.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's a lot of that.
In your opinion, who is the hardest player you've had to defend and why?
um, it's kind of tough to pick one guy. Honestly, I won't even do that. I think there's a ton of great players in the league, and it's kind of hard. I think actually one guy that really was difficult in the playoffs to play against, and he's a great talented player is Lombardi on Flint. He's a really fast player, shifty, and it's really hard to defend him. So maybe him for sure.
He set franchise records for a reason.
Yeah, he's a talented player for sure.
Where is your favorite vacation spot?
Ooh, um, I don't really know. I've been to Dominican Republic.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, it's really cool up there. Um, Went with my family once, and it was a great place. So probably that.
I haven't been to any resorts because I'm a big hockey guy, and I've always just traveled to places that there's been a hockey rink. So I know Ottawa is like one of my favorite vacation spots. I just love downtown. It's amazing there.
Oh, that's yeah, it's a cool place. My grandparents live there, so it's a cool
Yeah.
place.
I just it's a great, like, there's so many museums, and I'm a big museum guy. Like, Ottawa, I always go to their museums, Beaver Tails as well. You got to get one there. It's amazing.
For sure. Yeah, just to touch on that too. You said Beaver Tails, right near my place actually. They just got a truck, so and
Oh, that's
we don't really
golden.
yeah, we don't really have them here. So, and I was driving by one day and it was just like a truck. I think, I don't know, one of the neighbors wanted it and I don't know what happened. I don't know what the process of getting it here, but it was pretty cool. And we've been going like the last like 3 nights. So
Oh, dude, you have to. You have to get a beaver tail. It's the most Canadian thing ever, in my opinion.
it's great. Yeah, it's a great option for sure. So,
What's your favorite TV show?
favorite TV show. Um, I don't know. I think there's a ton of options. I really liked Outer Banks when I watched
I
it.
loved Outer Banks too. I
It's a
love that show.
Yeah, it's a great show. So I love it for sure. It's got a lot of plots to it. I don't typically watch too many TV shows, but it's definitely a cool one for sure.
Yeah, so like Outer Banks and Stranger Things are my go-to, like 1, 2.
Stranger Things is good too. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then like after that, I'm just like, all right, what do I do now? Like I'm just waiting for the next hit TV show.
Yeah, definitely. There's a bunch for sure.
As we're closing off this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
For sure. Yeah, I think my advice to any young guy would be, just keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy the game. It's a long ride. You don't need to be worried about where you go in the draft, whatever. Like if there's hockey players that are leading up to the OHL draft, I would say doesn't matter where you're picked. If you're not picked, keep going and just never take your foot off the gas.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank again Luke Mcnamara for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Luke.
Thank you very much.